Neither.
Where's my little red book?
You have to switch it on.
Now, the first thing I must do before I forget is to thank Simon, who is paying the bill, just to be quite grateful for this party. And this is unbelievably generous, but Simon attributes me, I think, again, ridiculously generously, as a spark that set him on a course to a very successful and hopefully a very happy life. And Simon, it's great for you to be with us, and we love you very much, and keep going and live another 20 years and outdo who's that famous man who I met quite recently?
Dyson.
Somebody else who I met came to my office, and I think he's now worth rather more than the national debt. Well, when this party was organised and given a date, we didn't realise there was going to be a general election, and I was tempted to cancel it or move it on. But on the whole, I felt that a general election did have some relevance to our beings, and so we've gone ahead. And one or two people sent their apologies, but by and large, those who said they would come are here, and those who haven't got long distance trains to catch are still here. And especially my beloved niece, Judith, is here. She's been going through She's been having a tough time, but she got herself out of hospital this morning, and we send you all blessings, Judith. Because Judith was one of those who came to Dutton House in the days of our election campaigns in 1970, 1974 twice, 1979 and 1983. So there it is. And that is our connection with Leominster, a place that nobody has ever heard of. And if they have heard of it, they think it's spelled Leominster. But I can tell you it's correctly spelled Leominster. And I think as a result of my campaigning up there over 13 years, a lot of people, at least they know where it is. And a lot of other people have come to love Herefordshire, which is a wonderful, underrated, in many ways fortunately underrated county, which is really the embodiment of the best of this country. And when you think really of the task which this government faces, whichever party forms the next government, is really going to face a challenge to restore just ordinary decency, ordinary competence. So we have got this very strange situation where we have the main two party leaders are both of them competent and able men. And I think we can only hope that the result produces a competent, business-like government, because really the failure has not been a matter of differences of political opinion or ideas. It's been much more a failure of just straightforward competence, which is why I forecast this, and not very clever to do so, that there will be a huge Labour majority, which will bring problems in itself, both to the country and to the Labour Party. Whether the Tories can recover, I'm sure they can. Never underestimate the Tory Party, as I learned on my many battles with Sir Clive Bossum and his successor, whose name is I'm forgetting for a moment. You would remember.
Peter Temple Morris.
Peter Temple Morris.
The man who ended up in the Labour Party.
Yes, Temple Morris.
And then after that, he became a member of the House of Lords, I think, and poor chap was ill. I introduced him to this club. He invited me to lunch. We drank 2 bottles of claret. He paid for them. And I'm not surprised that he didn't last very long. His father had been a Welsh judge, His Honour Temple Morris. But there we are. Friendship is really the greatest gift to mankind. The fact that we're concerned for each other. Love is really the most important thing. Almost whatever form it takes. Love is what really matters. And we should all find room in our hearts, in our lives, to love in that way. And you can see that mankind, is put on this earth, which in itself is without parallel in the universe as far as we know. I mean, if anyone found a frog on the moon, they would be amazed. And all the searchlights of the world would be on it. But when you think of the sheer magnificence of this earth on which we live, of these trees, of the tremendous flora and fauna, and if there was time to have a competition, and maybe this is one, especially for our younger friends who are especially welcome, it would be to wonder what new inventions there have been in 30 years' time. 30 years ago, there were things which we now take for granted, all these devices which had hardly been invented. In 30 years, there's tremendous advance. And we all know that in the next 30 years, there will be similar advances. But we don't know what they are. But the clever people who do know what they are going to be well rewarded and are going to make billions. But just think of a good idea. I've often thought in your lifetime, just one good idea is enough. I mean, there was one young chap who came to my office many years ago, and I remember taking him to lunch afterwards, and we kept in touch through the years. And when I look at the rich list, he's now well in the rich list. So he's serious wealth, and a very generous and good man. And he just had one simple idea. So especially to our young friends, who, as I said earlier, are most welcome, and particularly welcome, just put your mind to one thing which is really worthwhile, really valuable, which can make a difference to the rest of mankind, and you will be rewarded time and time and time again. We have all been very fortunate. We've all lived through a time of generosity. We've all of us, every one of us in this room, met people of enormous generosity to us. And that is why when I say fellow liberals, some of you may well say, who's he talking to? And I would say, fellow liberals, that doesn't foretell how you're going to vote next week or whenever it is. But it does mean that you believe in love, that you believe in sharing, that you believe in putting other people ahead of your own short-term advantages. It means that your heart is full of gold, and that this unique creature, which is a human being, has been visited upon us by some miracle and is worth all the gold and all the love. And here we have, just in a tiny form, we sit around a table, we've been beautifully served, we've had lovely food. We thank once more Simon for his generosity. And we say, God bless us all. And maybe we meet again. And if we don't, this were a parting well made. Thank you all very much.
I'm Roger. Am I allowed to reply to you? Very personally, yes. But also, I'm sure I speak for others. Following Roger's theme, magnanimity is the quality that I always associate with you, Roger, because whether there were people who are vulnerable or in need of support, Roger was always there. And I'm sure this is relevant to many of us here. And in any case, you were fascinated with people. Your magnanimity showed itself through your love of other human beings. So you couldn't have an exchange with Roger without coming away enriched, enlivened, and ready for the next adventure. So, a toast to Roger and your company.
Roger.
Thank you all very much. And I was let you into a secret. I'm now older than Mr. Gladstone was when he died. I never thought I'd do that. I'm 4 months older than he was when he died.
You see, yeah, Simon is just going to say a few words.
Ah.
Can I just add a separate thanks to Catherine, because actually I'm thrilled to, I feel honoured to be able to have anything in any shape or form to do with this, and you are all invited next year. But Catherine sort of wills this into existence, reaching out to everybody and making everything work. So a huge thanks to Catherine. To Hugh and all the people at Reform Club as well, a huge thanks.
Yes, yes.
They love, everyone in this room loves Roger Pincham, but actually everyone in this postcode loves Roger Pincham. So every member of staff, I've had people who come up to me and say how thrilled they are that he's coming back into the club, how much they look forward to him coming back into the club. And I think that's the measure of the man, is it inspires everyone who comes into his orbit, past, present, right now, right here and today. Had a huge impact on my life. He kindly speaks about the importance of love. So many things I learned from Roger. He broadened my horizons. He showed me, by living example, what it means to have dispositional optimism. But most of all, it's the love, the kind of the light that he gives, because he can listen with such sincerity to everyone that creates warmth, that creates love, and it creates a lifetime of debt. Can we cheer him again?